Here on Grove will be our special music, and Sam Jones will be sharing today's message. Let's give him all a hand. Fantastic. We want to welcome everyone who is here. We hope that you're inspired. Our greatest desire is that you're inspired by the music, the message, the meditation. We are in the sanctuary. We are wearing masks. We are wearing face shields. We're hand sanitizing. We are taking our temperatures so we're all safe. And we are so grateful that you are here in the sanctuary and that you are at home live on Facebook. Yay! That's exciting stuff. Fantastic. We are blessed by your presence. We are blessed by all of your presence. And we want to celebrate the 4th of July coming up. So happy Independence Day. That's a big, let's cheer. Yay! Happy Independence Day. That's fantastic. And this is the month of imagination, the power of imagination. And that's the power to envision, to visualize, to conceptualize, to think outside the box. And with that imagination, let's say our mission statement together. To inspire spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. And with that same imagination, let's say our statement of being together. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. Once again, we want to thank everyone who is in attendance today, either live in the sanctuary or live on Facebook. And if you're here for the first time experiencing unity for the very first time, we want to welcome you. We want to welcome you. We look forward to meeting you in person very soon. And wherever you are in your spiritual journey, we just invite you to take in our teachings. Unity is a worldwide ministry dedicated to the ongoing awareness of the Spirit within all. So just take in our teachings, whatever fits in with your spiritual journey, and just gently release the rest. So let's bless everyone now together. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. And take it away, our first song.
We now move into the contemplative portion of our service. We now move into a time of prayer, which is so needed just in general in the life of one who seeks to be spiritually grounded and aware, as prayer is that spiritual tool in our toolbox that allows us to synchronize our minds and our hearts with the heartbeat of the divine. Especially in these times, a lot going on in the world, prayer can be that instrument that gives us steady anchoring as we navigate our days and our minutes and our moments. So we want to continue to hold everyone in our congregation in prayer, everyone in our world in prayer. We want to continue to remember our brother Alf Marin, who has started chemotherapy treatments this week for the tumor that he has in his esophagus. I spoke with him yesterday. He's in very good spirits and very appreciative of all the prayers. So continue to hold him in prayer and hold everyone in our congregation in prayer, because everyone has a prayer on their heart, whether spoken or unspoken. So we do that now. We'll just take a moment to close our eyes and allow our minds and our bodies to settle. And we allow ourselves to be in tune with the presence of God, fully and completely present, right here, right now, in its fullness. And this divine presence is familiar to us, for it is our true nature. It is the source of our being. It is the realm in which we live and move. And we are grateful for this knowing and this truth. Feel that presence. Feel into that presence right now. Let it soothe you. We let it nurture us. We let it strengthen us. We let it lift our eyes so that we can be attuned to higher order things. Feel the love, the peace, the beauty, the wisdom, and all of the divine ideas that encompass this one mind presence. For Alf Marin and everyone in our spiritual community, we affirm wholeness, well-being, love, and wisdom. We affirm these things in a way that allows us to experience them to the fullest measure, as well as to outpicture them so that we can reach out and touch and be a blessing to others. We hold our spiritual congregation in the light. We hold our city in the light, our country, and our world, affirming that each and every person and all beings everywhere are unique expressions of the one mind presence that is God. This is our blessing, this is our strength, and this is our hope. We are so grateful, and together we say, and so it is. Amen.
All right, so what a wonderful world we're in, right? I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you.
Art Handy will now be sharing our meditations and affirmations.
Okay, affirmations. Repeat after me. I claim imagination now.
I claim imagination now.
My imagination is my superpower.
My imagination is my superpower.
My imagination carries me to the life of my dreams.
My imagination carries me to the life of my dreams.
At this time, I invite us all to become very relaxed in our seats. Close your eyes and relax your gaze. And just feel your body becoming ever more relaxed. As the body is de-emphasized and as our mind settles, it enables us to attune ourselves to the one mind, whole, complete, everywhere present in its fullness. God the good, omnipotence. Just feel God's presence. And as we feel into God's presence, we know and affirm that that presence lives in us, through us, and as us. We are one with the one. And as we become filled with this realization, I would invite you to see yourselves on the sand, looking out at a vast, vast ocean. The environment is just right. The weather is perfect. The sand under your feet feels warm. And the atmosphere is so inviting that you decide to sit down in the sand and position yourself to look out at the vast, vast ocean. And as you look out to the vast ocean, call to mind your power of pure imagination. Allow yourself a moment to dream, to envision. Allow yourself to look at your life and envision what you want to co-create, what you want to outpicture, what you want to express. You may have it in mind of a beautiful poem that is welling up inside of you that you want to put to paper or speak in a microphone. It may be a dream, a long-held dream that you seek to step into and accomplish. Perhaps it's an enhanced relationship with a loved one. Or maybe simply it's just to live a life of more comfort, more ease. Maybe to have a more healthy financial life, whatever it is. Imagine it now. Imagine it now. The very fact that it comes up in your imagination is evidence that it already exists in consciousness, and that it is yours to claim, yours to step into, and yours to experience. Allow yourself to feel the feelings of that vision. Feel yourself fully immersed in it. Feel the passions, the energies that you would feel if that vision were in full realization. Feel it. It is yours. And as you hold this vision of what you want to outpicture using your power of imagination, we step into the silence and allow the divine to fortify you with the courage, the guidance, and the strength to step into that vision. That vision is yours. It is yours to claim. And know that the feelings that we feel and the thoughts that we have in the outpicturing of this vision, we don't have to wait until the vision is realized before we feel these feelings and know for a surety that that vision is unfolding moment by moment. And as we know this, we step into a particular power relative to this vision that we don't wait and see, we see, then wait. We are so grateful for the power of pure imagination, and so grateful to the divine for giving us this vision of greater possibilities. Thank you, God. And in the name and in the nature of the Christ within, together we say, and so it is. Amen.
strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ.
you have seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder? Most everybody. Good, good. So I have a 5-year-old, and he was finally ready to watch that movie for the first time just a couple weeks ago. I was worried about the boat scene. You guys know that scene? They're on the Chocolate River, which is just creepy in the first place. And then they're going through this tunnel, and there's like bugs crawling on some guy's face, and it's just really, it's what they call cringeworthy, right? I keep cutting in and out, don't I? It's what they call cringeworthy. And I thought, I know my son, and he's got a pretty vivid imagination, just like his mom. You know what I imagine? I imagine a post-corona haircut. That's what I imagine. I saw that. You got a nice haircut. I haven't made it to the beautician yet, and I noticed it this morning especially. Anyway, I digress. Pure Imagination, that song, was the part that I kept thinking, oh man, he's gonna love it. He's gonna walk around the house singing that song, just like I did when I was a kid. And instead he started singing, there is no way of knowing where this ship is going. And I thought, oh, he held on to the tunnel scene. Nice. What's that mean? Right? What's he meant to be? What's he meant to be? But what I realized when I was watching that movie again for the first time in many years was I knew that it was about the wonder of being a kid and the wonder of trying to figure out how your favorite things are made and created, but I didn't realize what a beautiful illustration it was of our actual power of imagination. You see, at the beginning of the film, do you remember Slugsworth? Yeah, he's the really creepy looking guy. He's got the big scar on his face, so you know he's sinister. And he's coming up and secretly talking in all these kids' ears. And it's like, where are their parents? Do they not see this guy? He's just talking to them. Would never happen in my world, I'm just saying. But what is interesting about it is that as I'm watching it, my imagination is firing within myself about how in the heck do these parents not know what's going on? If that were Nevin, I'll tell you what, that guy would know that he was not allowed to be that close to my kid, not even if he was wearing a mask. Because, and I thought, wow, that is imagination. And I didn't even know it. As I'm describing that, does that sound familiar to any situation that you've experienced lately? So let's answer the first question, which is, oh, you gotta turn it back on. What is imagination? What is imagination? Anybody have a really succinct answer? Not you, Patty, because you answered already.
Visualization.
Visualization.
Frustrated creation.
Frustrated creation. Nice. Yes, Tom?
When you imagine something,
When you imagine something, that is imagination, yes. Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you, so I had to try to imagine your lips moving. See? Imagination. So Linda Martella-Wexit, who is the director of Silent Unity, she has written this beautiful book called Divine Audacity. And we're doing a spirit group about it right now, but if you haven't heard of this book or you haven't read it, I strongly encourage you to read it. I have several copies, come see me. So her first answer is that is the powerful capacity to picture what can be. That's not identifying good or bad, is it? It is essential for the cultivation of all our magnificent spiritual capabilities or capacities. So without imagination, would we have strength? We would, but could we put it someplace? At the finest point of imagination is idea. Imagination brings forth that idea within us. It allows us to see that idea that's being brought forth from that presence of God in and around us. That idea is, oh, it's there. And our imagination grasps it and says, aha. My son's going to sing Pure Imagination. Instead, he sings the boat song. But we think about strength. How many times have you conjured up the strength within you to go do something hard? And before you go to that job interview, or you go have that conversation with a loved one that you're not really ready to have. How many times do you go over in your mind? Imagination. How many times do you go over in your mind what you should have said to that person when they talked to you so rudely? What I really should have said, what would have really got him? Imagination, right? So it's in every part of our experience, every part of our being is imagination. Just as we were singing that song as Huron was performing for us, I was sitting there and I was like, oh man, I really feel like I could have a dim lighting. I could be seated at a nice table with lots of people all around me. This is great music. I'm really enjoying it. Oh wait. Come back. Come back. We use our power of imagination without even calling upon it. So often, in fact, that I challenge anybody to really come up with a power that we use more frequently without knowing.
Breathing.
Well, I'm talking spiritual powers, but yes, you're right. Because it is with that power of imagination that all of a sudden we are able to move into action. That we have formulated a plan. That we have created the opportunity for us to rise into strength. That we have imagined what it would be like to love the person that I saw struggling on the corner. So the other day, I was pulling into Quick Trip, and there was this gentleman that was sitting on the sidewalk. And I thought, boy, he really looks hungry. And before I go inside, I just sat there for a moment, and I thought to myself, and it wasn't long, right? Imagination moves like this, doesn't it? It wasn't long, it was just a moment of, it was a flash in my mind of seeing myself giving him a bottle of water and saying, I hope you stay hydrated today. And what I saw in return in that image, in that imaginative process was, hey, thank you, somebody saw me. And I thought, gosh, I could love this person today. Maybe they need that. I know I do, right? So, being able to take those finite moments of imagination and use them to create what we'll do next. That's pure imagination, right? So, she goes on to say the powerful capacity to picture what can be by holding that idea and developing it until we feel its effects while it is yet unmanifest. To live into that idea until it is essentially becoming reality. I went to an active shooter training a couple years ago, and the officer who was performing the training was talking about what we would do in our church, what we would do in our community if we had an active shooter come in that door, or that door, or that door. And I thought, well, what would we do? I know what certain people would do, or I imagine I know. But how do you talk about that? How do you bring it up? And he was getting really aggressive in his leadership. Of course, that's what he's there to do, is to prepare us and to let us know what we need to do to prepare our groups, our congregations, our schools. And then he said something really powerful. He said, here's the thing, when you're in crisis, if your mind has not seen it, if you have not imagined it, your body cannot do it. And I thought, that's pretty powerful. Okay. So I just let it be, because he said when your body's in crisis, or when you are in crisis. And then I started thinking about all of these times that we experience crisis. Doesn't look like crisis to anybody else, but it is crisis nonetheless. Maybe it's that you're really feeling lonely. You're lonely, you've been isolated, and your friend who was supposed to Zoom with you today canceled. No big deal, right? But if you're lonely and you're hurting and you need that connection, that becomes what? Crisis. It becomes crisis. And that brought me back to that gentleman who was speaking about active shooters and the fact that if you don't imagine it, your body can't do it. So let's imagine a few things. I would like us to look at these pictures together and just take an inventory. Take notice of what you imagine. Remember, imagination moves this quickly, right? Ready? Oh, there's Linda Matilda Woodsit. What do you imagine about her? Vivacious. And that is true. And I will also say that she's one of the most calming people I've ever met. I encourage you to do it. First picture. Feel free to shout out anything if you want to. Whimsy. Tiny. Do you guys recognize it? Yeah, it's from Willy Wonka. To me, it looks like Chocolate Death. That river is so weird to me. What about this? Oh. Scary. Of course, we know that that is the visual representation of the coronavirus. But isn't it interesting that this visual conjures so much within us? How about this one? Hey. Hey. I heard an oh yeah. Umbrella drink. You know what I see?
Let's go.
Stinky. The only time I've been to the ocean, it really smelled bad. So every time I see the ocean, that's what I think. That's my imagination at work. Although I've heard that these places don't smell bad.
No.
What about this?
Before COVID.
I heard sickness. I heard crowding.
Before COVID.
Before COVID. What about divine justice?
What
What about movement?
Oh no, there's somebody wearing a mask.
Don't see any movement.
What are they doing? Can't see them.
Actually, they've gathered and they are celebrating a poet in their city. I can't remember which one, and I apologize for that. But they're gathering to celebrate. But I thought with everything that's going on right now in our world, and all of the protesting, and all of the distancing and not distancing, and what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Is there going to be a huge surge? Are all of the people that gathered over here going to get sick? How many of them are going to die? What about over here? What if all these people get sick? And what if they come to my grocery store? Right? I hear these conversations with people, and I hear these conversations within myself and my family, and then I think, oh, it is our imagination. How about that? 4th of July, it's coming up.
Coming up pretty soon.
It is very soon, this weekend.
Next week.
No shout outs for this one? I think Huron sees what I see. Loud, irresponsible people with fire.
Yeah, shooting fireworks where they're not supposed to.
Shooting fireworks where they're not supposed to. That's where I go a lot of times. It's pretty. It is pretty.
That's pretty.
Yep.
I should have warned you, I'm sorry. Where's your imagination going?
Wonder what his name is.
Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. I love Albert Einstein. Don't you just love that man? I imagine that he and I could hang out and have coffee. And I hold that vision because I think it's true. I think I could hold my own, chilling about imagination. Maybe not the math part and the physics, but the imagination. Charles Fillmore shares with us that the highest and best work of the imagination is the marvelous transformation that it works in character. So, as a demonstration, I shared with you that one of my thoughts is, loud constitutes inebriated people with fire. Right? How many of you have that in your neighborhood?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but then there's another part of me, and this is the part of my character that is optimistic and hopeful. And I see the representation of independence and opportunity. And with what's going on right now, I see that as being even more hopeful for everyone, everywhere around the world. And it makes me excited. This one. If she really bothers you, please raise your hand and we'll move forward. Okay, there's enough of you all. Okay. So, that spider, I got up from my desk on Tuesday morning, and there has been an ant crawling around my desk, and I thought, oh man, come on guys, get out. I got up, I left, came back with my coffee, and, well, she's not up there anymore, but she was right there under my desk. Now, I do not kill spiders.
Yay!
Nope, I don't get anybody else to do it either. So I had a container that was darkly colored, and I thought, well, I'm going to put it over, and I'll slip paper underneath, take her out. And you know what happened? Because she was big. I want her to jump on me. I don't want her. Okay. You need something clear. So I went to the kitchen and I got a vase and I thought, well, if she's still here, then I'm going to take her. And so she was still there, and it's a vase, right? So it's long. So I'm holding on to the end of it, and it's behind my desk. I don't have very much room, so I kind of. But you know what happened? In my mind, I didn't miss. I caught her. Obviously, I took that picture. She posed for me. But what happened was, I realized that I had created this whole opportunity for this beautiful wolf spider, I think, or some sort of spider, to crawl up on me, bite me, kill me, and lay babies on my body, right? And so I'm just freaking out. It's only because she was so big. If she was little. So, the power of imagination. So I get her picked up and I put her on the desk and I'm looking at her. And I see that she's injured. She's missing a leg. And I thought, oh, you poor thing. And she didn't scare away from me. She was a little timid. And then I started moving the vase so I could securely carry her outside. And she was a little nervous, kind of like I was. And then she calmed. And we sat there and had a conversation for about 10 minutes. And that's when I took her pictures. I have lots of them. That was just one. But it was such a beautiful experience to see that power of imagination and how it affected me as I showed up in the world, right here, in this body, in this place. And I realized that I can allow that power of imagination to drive me in the direction of my divine purpose, of my divine good, of what I'm meant to be, or not.
And she was there to help me get rid of those ants.
And she was there to help me get rid of those ants. Thank you. I hadn't imagined that. And so it became so painfully clear that my imagination truly is the gift of the foundation of all these capacities that we as human beings wield, the power of love, the power of strength, the power of life. And just as that officer said, if I don't imagine it, I can't do it. So I challenge you this week. Every time you notice yourself creating a story that maybe doesn't support yours or the good of humanity, see what happens when you just say stop, take a deep breath, reset, say a prayer, however it looks. Because when we say, I hold a vision for you, that's a prayer plus, right? Plus holding that vision, plus seeing, plus knowing, plus creating the manifest opportunity of good. When we hold a collective vision for Unity of Wichita moving to a new building, and after Matt's announcement last week, we know that that's on hold again. We hold a vision. We hold a prayer plus the vision of what is meant to be. So if you truly wish it to be in the world of your imagination, come with me and you'll see what's in your imagination. Thank you all so very much, and have a beautiful week. I've written it for you.
Wow, we are certainly blessed here at Unity of Wichita by the music, the message, the meditations. And so let's take out our tithe and our offering and place it over our heart. Or imagine your electronic tithe. Those of us who are in the sanctuary can place it in the offering plate as you leave the sanctuary. Or you can go to your website, online, and push the donate button. And let's say together our offering blessing. Divine love flowing from me, bless and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and I pray for. Amen.
I kind of forgot about this part. Uh-oh. I said I kind of forgot about this part. Art is so good at just being here. So as we hold the vision of our tithes and donations, remembering that Unity is a tithing community, and we evenly distribute our tithe each month to Silent Unity, Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute, Unity Worldwide Ministries, and Unity South Central Region, all of which support a worldwide movement. Please join me in holding a prayer for all of these gifts that are being brought forth. We hold a vision of these tithes and donations that come into Unity of Wichita, supporting, enriching, and enlivening the spiritual transformation of each person who walks through these doors and all of those around the country and the world that are supported by the funds that Unity of Wichita then tithes. We are so grateful for these opportunities to share and process in the act of giving and receiving and knowing the consciousness of prosperity is always in us and available to us. And together we say, and so it is.
Amen.
So we move into announcements. Midweek meditation, we're off without a hitch. Yay! Those of you who don't know, I was muted the whole time last week. So, it was fun. Go ahead and join us this week at 9 a.m. The link is in the e-blast, or you can catch us. I always live stream it to YouTube, and yes, there was a silent YouTube stream. That was fun. Anyway, but I've imagined doing it perfectly, and it worked. So we'll do that again every Wednesday. And finally, just a reminder, we are going to continue with this process of requiring masks, taking temperatures, hand sanitizer, 6 feet distancing, unless you're from the same home, or if you come from behind the same door. If you don't, make sure there are 4 seats between you. That's what that little sign means. But we're going to do this because we are noticing that there is an uptick in coronavirus cases here in Sedgwick County, as well as in other parts of the country. So we want to do our part to support the good health and healing for everyone. And that brings us to our youth blessing. A couple chords, sister.
We are walking as the light,
As the light, as the light. We are walking as the light, as the light of God.
So I invite you to bring into your imagination all the beautiful children that we know have been here, or the children in your life. And I would even invite you to just take a moment, open your hands, see them there. As we bless them, we love you.
We bless you. We appreciate you.
And
We behold the Christ as you, just as you are.
Even when they're singing the boat song. So, that got her. Okay, so I invite you to rise, and we will close out our service today. We're not going to join hands for the peace song, but please imagine those streams of spirit connecting our hands throughout this room, throughout this community, and throughout the interwebs, on Facebook too. So, I am, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is